In this video, I'm going to show you how to operate an older Whirlpool oven that's mounted into the wall. This is the continuous cleaning model, and that shows the model here. It's the RDE1300G2 model, and it still works great. We have had the element changed in it 2 or 3 times. I remember at least twice that my mom and my grandmother changed it. A lot of delicious meals have been made in this oven. And again, it was made in like 1978, and it was originally put in with the house. Still works great. And of course, it's a unit, an oven that's separate, of course, from the cooking stovetops there. So I want to show you how to operate it. First, just how to cook. It does have a timer system on there that I want to show you. And it's actually a little bit complicated, believe it or not, the analog dials. And you could actually set a certain time of the day that you want it to start cooking and then stop after a certain amount of time. It's pretty cool. The light still works on it. So we open this sucker up. We click on light. Still works great. Alright, so if we want to set something to cook, let's say we put some tater tots in there and we want to cook it, and the temperature has to be 400. The only thing you have to do is click on the dial to 400, and that, of course, that's the dial that hits the 400, and then you're going to hit preheat, and this little light will stay on until it's already preheated, until it hits 400, and then that light will turn off when you know you're ready. Alright, and then it's got, of course, broil you can do, and broil, and then this is the timed. But after the preheat's done, say I got my tater tots in there, and then what I'll do is when that light turns out, I'll go ahead and put my tater tots in and click bake. And probably most people with this kind of oven will have their own timing system. They won't actually use this. They'll use a digital clock that they have in the kitchen or something like that, or just figure out how to keep time themselves. But that's pretty much how you would bake or cook food in the oven. The continuous cleaning, you may be asking what that is. It's not something that you set. It's automatically cleaning. So there's a system inside the oven that over time, when you click baking, it will clean itself. It's like a self-cleaning thing, to where the baking itself will remove all the grime and the grease and everything. Pretty cool function, and it does seem like it does stay pretty clean on its own. There's no way to turn that function off. Alright, so in order to set the timer, let's go with just a simple timer. Let's say I put my tater tots in and I'm baking it. It's at 400 degrees, and let's say I want to put them in for 20 minutes. So ignore these, the timer start and the finish timer. We're just going to look at this, and we're just going to focus on the orange little lever here. Ignore the white handles that would represent a time. And so let's say I want to put the timer at 15. So you go to counterclockwise. So of course that's 0 seconds, or rather 0 minutes. That's 10 minutes. And what did I say? 15, 10, 15. So right there is where I would set my tater tots at. And then of course after 15 minutes, this is slowly going to go clockwise, and then what's going to happen is it's going to eventually get to off, and it's going to make a sound knowing your tater tots are ready. To turn it off, you just click to your right clockwise. Alright, now the tricky part is to set the timer, and that would be on this section right here. But it's pretty cool and actually pretty sophisticated on how it works. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the actual time of day that it is right now, and they don't have AM or PM. So I'm going to look up here at my clock. Right now it shows that it's about 7 minutes after 2. So I'm going to go ahead and push down. Let's see, push down, and that's how you would move. You have to firmly hold down like this, and you actually have to go around a full circle in order to go 1 hour. So let's first set it to 2. So as you can see here, it's moving. This is the small hand, just like of a regular clock, and that's the big hand, right? That's minutes, that's hours. And so I turn it, and now it's 2, and then I said it is 2:07. So I'm going to push, and that's 07. So that's my official clock. I inadvertently, accidentally turned the timer orange. That's not going to be indicated in this, so I'm going to go back to 12 so that won't actually go off while I'm timing something. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is go to time right here. I'm going to set the temperature of what I want it to cook at when it starts. So let's say I want to go to 400 degrees again. And this here represents a clock. So as this clock moves, this will actually keep the same, if it's working correctly, this will keep the same time as your real time. So right now that says 2:07. This is 2:07 or 2:08 now. Alright, and these are like 2 little clocks. So as you can see there, if you can read it, it says to set clock for time to bake, set number 1 is this one. Set start time. Number 2, set stop time. Set selector to timed, which is right here. This is your selector to time. Set oven temperature, which I did to 400 degrees. And then turn temperature and selector controls to off after cooking. Alright, so let's say it's 2:08 now or 2:09. I want to have the oven come on, let's say at 3 o'clock. So I'm going to push this down and go to 3 o'clock, which is right there. So you can see that, 3 o'clock. And then I want to click the shut-off time to 4. And I have to push this down again, of course, to do that. So I want to do 4 here. And so what's going to happen is the oven's going to stay off. But what's going to happen is when this gets to 3 o'clock, then that's going to cue my start time to turn on the oven. It's going to start to preheat. And as it's preheating, you'll see this light come on. And it will know when to start preheating before the actual start time. So I noticed that 15 minutes before, 10 to 15 minutes before my start time, this red would come on because then it's starting to preheat. And then, what I say, 4 o'clock is when it'll end. So what's going to happen from 3 to 4, it'll be baking on timed. It'll be baking at 400 degrees for 1 hour from 3 to 4. And then what's going to happen is that this oven will shut off and stop baking at 4 o'clock. Now, I have to give you a word of caution. Of course, you want to be in the home. You don't want to just leave an oven running. Maybe that's one reason they stopped using these, this kind of function. I'm not sure. But I've already tried it out. It still works great. If I'm going to be honest with you, if you have this ability, I would just get you a little cheap digital clock or use your smartphone and just time it yourself. All right, thanks so much for watching. If you got one of these jewels, keep it. Don't throw it away and get another oven because it works great and it's an antique. It's pretty darn cool if it still works. All right.